that's a bit of a guy, I just come here.
Ni Deluisi Phyliis Googoo. What's good you know yeah, member two. From member two I went to Walmart school and I ended up in the residential school. That's where my mother lived. And I spent a lot of years in residential school, maybe 10 years, around 10 years. And when I got out of residential school, I went back to member two. I lived with Wallace and Pauline. I was so lucky to be with them because I was in Louisiana. They taught me they told me to speak Mi'kmaq. And I had a hard time at first. My accent wasn't that good, you know, but it came back to me. I understood because I know I dreamt in Mi'kmaq and I think in Mi'kmaq, and that's how I kept my language there. And later on, my parents weren't home yet. They're separated anyway. My mother wasn't home, she was in the States somewhere, so I stayed with Wallace and Pauline for a while till I went to school in Evershed. That was a French school. It's not a boarding school. And the nuns were very nice there. I enjoyed school there. And from there, my mother came home one summer, that following summer, and I ended up in going to school in Mabu, another boarding school. And I liked it there too. I went home weekends with the Waikagma crew, and that's where I met my husband, Bernie. And we went out. I sort of knew him here and there, you know, I met him here and there, but I never went out with him, but you know, that's where I met him, and we ended up getting married. And I got married on St. Patrick's Day. I chose a day that was like St. Patrick's Day. And we've been married 54 years. Yeah, so that's a long time. And I keep telling people that I'm a survivor of the residential school. I'm a cancer survivor and a survivor of a marriage for 54 years.
How many kids?
I have 3 children. They all teach, and one taught at the community college, but he's working on the band office here. And I started out, I like Waikagma. It's a beautiful place to live, as you know. Bringing up my children was beautiful, because the life was so slower pace than today, and we had more time with our children. We would go sliding together. We'd go out right on the bay, and I taught them how to skate. And we used to go skate on the bay, on the road. It was, you know, different. And we always had families, other families would be there. It was so, you know, we'd have bonfires out in the water there when it gets dark. It was so wonderful. And then in the summertime, we used to go to the river, the Sky River. And there was a big swimming hole there. We used to swim there all day. We have a picnic. Especially on sunny days, we'd take Kool-Aid. I don't think we ever had pop anyway. And we had sandwiches. We'd spend the whole day, and there were other families there. And we wouldn't go home till supper time, I guess, when my husband would come home from work. We spend days there. We enjoyed bringing up our children near the water, you know, out there having a picnic, and we have other mothers our age, and we'd enjoy our day. It was so peaceful. I find it wasn't rushing. Everything was, you know, today is so much rushing. You have to be here this time and there, you know. And I started off working when my youngest son was 5 years old. I worked as a teacher's aide in kindergarten. We went to school together. It was so cool, you know. All the kids didn't understand, most of the kids didn't understand English, so I was a mediator, like between them. I translated and helped the kids, you know. Today, what a change, huh? Anyway, it was fun working there. We sang songs and was really, I enjoyed the work. So I said, I have more potential than that. You know, I felt like I could do more. And I knew the language so well, you know, and I said, I think I could do more. You know, there's a lot of things that I wanted to do and I was itching. You know, it's hard when you're a teacher's aide. There's things you see that should be done. And from there on, I worked as a teacher's aide for 11 years. I think almost 11 years. And then I went to Teachers College in Touro. So I had my teacher's license there. And I upgraded my license at St. FX. And I became a teacher. I worked here in 1971 as a teacher's aide. And from then on, when my son was about 7, I think I came back anyway. He started about 2 years of school at, it took only 2 years for my, to get my license, my teacher's license, Micmac Teacher Education Program. Yeah, we went to schools in the summers, that's why it was shortened that way. And we took courses like, most of us took other courses in St. FX to upgrade our license. So it was fun, where, you know, having a group of native people going to school together was really fun. And I started off with the lower grades. I worked in kindergarten, and grade 1, grade 2, and I jumped up to grade 6 because we had language in the schools. And I worked with the teacher, Caroline Phyliis, and we taught the language. We never taught Micmac before, but I think we did well. Because we went over sounds. We didn't have a curriculum. What they're doing today, that's what we were doing. And mostly was conversation. Yeah, we did a lot of conversation, and we started the Micmac Speech Festival. It was here in Waikagma here, the very first one, and we competed with Wamatko people. And a couple of years they were the winners, you know, but this book, Micmac, we had, they made stories in Micmac, and they would tell the stories, or someone would say the prayers, the Our Father. It didn't matter what, you know. They had a show and tell, you know, what their language is, and some people would read a poem or something, and we had judges. Yeah, first couple of years was really good. And then it started from there, like we had, we invited Eskasoni, remember, it began to be a big thing. We still have Micmac speech festivals. Yeah, it's a little different now, because we show art as well. And they talk about their art in Micmac, and they have their own stories. They have to make their own stories. And the language is sort of, you know, we're losing our language. I find, you know, every year we're losing so much. Like example, like the primary classes, they have maybe one student that understands, or two. I think it's two students that understand out of 13 students. And it's something that's right through the schools. You know, we're losing our language so fast because we accommodate English speakers and everything is in English, TV and everything. And I think we're in a process of reviving our language. We're hoping to revive it anyway, you know. Yeah, it seems that there's certain age, like my age, that speak Mi'kmaq pretty good. And the elders, and there's a generation of young parents that lost their language, like, you know, maybe like children, maybe the primary 1, 2 parents, they seem to be the ones that, you know, lost their language. I like Waikama because we have water here, lots of water. We go boating. I live right near the water. And you don't have to go far. You know, sometimes you have to go away somewhere to enjoy your water, but it's right out in the backyard. And the people are pretty friendly, and I'm involved in elders groups, and, you know, we're together, we meet one another. We have bingo in the community, but it's a small thing, but we enjoy it. Oh, I lived here 54 years. Yeah, all my life, and I thought I was, you know, I wasn't from here, yeah? 54 years, that's a long time. My own home, you know, my own life, my own family. And I found Waikama to be a busy place. When I first got married, my husband used to go out camp, and they had a camp out in the woods, and they used to have horses, and they used to haul wood. He used to cut pulp, and I used to stay in camp with him. So did other wives, and we did cooking, and we enjoyed that kind of life, you know. Maybe we'd stay there for a week at a time, then come home and shop, and it was fun. Because I don't know how I survived like that one time. It was really fun, and it was warm in the cabins. It was so nice. You know, we're way out in the woods, but it was beautiful. You could hear the wildlife and see wildlife out there. I have 3 children, 2 boys and a girl. And I have 7 grandchildren. So I'm proud of that. Then I have 2 great-grandchildren. I have one living in Pictou, and one up here, my great-granddaughter here. I spend a lot of time with my grandchildren. Every Sunday I make sure they come over. I cook Sunday dinner, make sure they're here. So I find that being with my family helps, and it's helping me. And I don't want them to feel isolated like I did, and I have to see them every Sunday, make sure they're all right.
Đó là cái bất kỳ điều, chúng tôi đã đọc sơ gấp.